Well, hello and welcome to the soft launch of Transformation Decoded. We're super excited to bring this to you. This is essentially a platform that we've been working on for a while, and we're excited to welcome you into it as a place where we as a group of women can come collectively to share ideas, inspire each other, and learn where we're all at now and where we're headed next. The beauty of transforming is that we all have stories. We have stories from the past, we have the story we're living in now, we have stories of the future that we hope to avoid, and stories in the future that we aspire to attain to. And so it's just really my privilege to bring together this group, my trio of women who I partner with, I mastermind with, and we just want to share some ideas of where we are, where this came from, and hopefully draw you into the conversation and the platform. So let me first start by introducing you to my mastermind partners, Isabel Banerjee and Lee Woodward. So Isabel, share a little bit with us about your story, if you would.
I'm delighted to do that, Jackie, and to be here with everyone today. Transformation Maven was a title that was given to me by someone a few years ago. And at first I thought, well, it was a little cheeky. But then when I really decided to take ownership of that, I recognized, in fact, it's a title I'm very proud of and one that I get better and better at every day. I've been transforming all my life. I transformed so many times. In fact, I was able to write an entire book about it, which segue, both of you, my partners in Transformation Decoded, are a very integral part of it. So I'm looking forward to being here to share what we've learned about demystifying and clarifying transformation, taking the fear out of it, making it inspiring and successful, and something that you can do in the company of other women who inspire you.
I love that. Thanks so much. And again, with part of stories, we have so many stories in our lives. We have career stories, we have family stories, we have significant others and spouses, and blending and baking all of it in together to the rich fiber of our lives. And Lee, you've got a great story of transformation with coming out of a very solid, strong career with corporate background and now moving into your next story. So share a little bit with us about you.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I like to think of myself as a recovering corporate executive, and has taken actually quite a few years to fully detox myself. And there are still layers in there that are kind of residual within me that I think, no, I've kind of shed that part, and it bounces back up. And so I actually left a corporate career to pursue a small passion solarpreneur company on my own called Woman in Disguise. And that really is a culmination of all types of transformations that I've personally taken. And my passion is helping women rediscover our beauty. And I think that we get really disconnected from that power source inside of us, which is just connecting to our beauty and being able to see our reflection in the mirror and look ourselves in the eye and love what we see. And so that's a lot of my transformation stories. And Isabel, including the story in your book, it's really about the journey that I have had coming to peace with my physical body and my and some of those demons that I fought through the years. And now to be here and be able to share some of those lessons learned with other women has been really an amazing experience for me.
Great, thanks for sharing that. And I'm Jackie Ulmer. I am the creator of the Street Smart Wealth Academy. I'm a business mindset, skills, and social media coach and trainer. And while that sounds kind of cool right now, I have been a long-term transformer. 26 years ago, I started my solopreneur business with literally a small child at home with me, an airline pilot husband, and trying to figure out what this world was called entrepreneurship and how to develop the business skills that went into that. And so it's been just a total story of transformation over the last 26 years. And that's why I love what all of us have to share, you included, because we all bring those stories of struggle and success and creating all those chapters that make us into who we are. And it's kind of interesting and I'll have the ladies share a little bit more about how we came together. But the one interesting thing that really came up for us, even though as we met and started masterminding, we all were, working in different areas, developing different programs and different pieces of our business. But two things kept coming up, and one was women and transformation. And that's what all three of us bring to the table. So Isabel, share a little bit about the book and kind of what started us down this path. And then Lee will have you share a little bit about how we all came together.
Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, it's wonderful that we had that catalyst of my making a decision to write a book as a milestone for my 65th birthday, and reaching out to other women first to sort of get feedback and collect inputs about, is this a relevant topic? Are these thoughts only in my mind, or are they shared by others? And I just distracted myself because I realized this is what happens with pandemic isolation. You can't get to the nail salon. So here we are. Here we go. Talk about transformation. The story is about my journey in the beginning of being a farm girl who went from farm table to boardroom tables and traveled around the world and built a global empire, or fempire, as I like to say, all the while learning who I was, discovering along the way that a lot of the stories that I had told myself or had been told to me in the past were not true. They were completely false stories, and learning to unlearn that and to learn to be aware of my own powers and my own skill sets and embrace the constant change and not be afraid of it, but to be fierce with it. I was so delighted in this process of figuring out who I wanted to be next and the next businesses that I would create, that I joined a mastermind program, which included the two of you, and felt, okay, these are the three legs to a very, very solid stool that we're all going to climb on, right, as we go into the future, building businesses that support women and expand opportunity and create bigger impact in the world.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, Lee, and if you'll just share a little bit about how then the three of us kind of broke away and started our own mastermind and what's brought us to where we are right now.
Yeah, and so it was interesting because in that mastermind group, we had realized that the three of us had a connection, and I wouldn't say from the beginning, so it was kind of cool.
No.
So we kind of had, this start to get to know each other a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're just like, okay, this feels real, and very different our backgrounds and whatnot. But once it wrapped up, we realized that really started out as, how do we continue to have that type of support for our own businesses that we were pursuing? But as part of that, we said, hey, can we kind of keep this going and moving as almost more of an accountability partner in terms of our businesses? And then once we really got to spend even more time together and just kind of be able to set our own time and agenda and get to know each other more, we realized, like, no, this is more than about our businesses. This is about the journeys of who we are and who we want to be, and about our life, and about, the full shebang, not just a career mastermind for us. I think we kind of developed into this, like, no, we're life mastermind partners, and which is how we kind of started to say, how can we do more together? How can we continue to build each other up and then bring more and more women into this? Because it's been such a powerful experience for us, way beyond, I think I speak for all of us, than what we thought we were going to get than accountability partners of, I said I would do this week. Did I do it? It's like, okay, this is how I want to show up in life, guys. Help me out, you know, and that's what we do. We help each other show up in life.
Well, and the piece
Well
I love
said.
about it so much is that it's reflecting back. It's been a little over a year that the three of us started, really doing our weekly mastermind, showing up, setting accountability into it, setting goals and intentions, and then reporting back in. But it's also been so fascinating to see how all three of us have taken what was the business idea a year ago and seriously transformed that and had each other to bounce ideas off of us off and honestly in the kindest way say, yeah, that's not really resonating with me, maybe I see you more this way. I mean, evaluate some of that. And so it is cool how we were able to bring all that together and say, how can we not only keep this going for us, but how can we spread this message out into the world? And that's where we started talking about this platform, which we never intended to launch via Facebook. But interestingly, as we're recording this right in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have a bigger vision for what we want to pull together beyond this, bringing in interviews and being in an actual professional radio studio and creating a podcast and creating more of a whole community environment. But we thought, well, we can either rest on our laurels and wait until the time is right, or let's just take action now. Let's start building that group of people, that community who might be interested in what we have to share, who feel the same way, who think, gosh, I'm looking for my next chapter. I'm looking for my next transformation. Is going to be that community of people, and primarily women, who can assist me in moving that forward? So that's a big part of what we've got going on and what we've been thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you touched on it, and I think that the three of us have very diverse backgrounds and very diverse life experiences. In fact, we're from three different generational decades, right? So we're looking at, a broad spectrum of women like us in the world that have reached different junctures and gone, huh, what's next? And how do you get there? And oh my God, it's kind of scary. And even though I don't like it where I am, it seems more more comfortable to stay in that than to make the next step. But we don't, we want to make that a very positive experience for everybody by sharing what we've figured out about how to transform and what are the secrets that you need to know, and who do you need in your posse to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think, Jackie, when you're talking, and Isabel resonated with I think one of the things that came out of our experiences together was we got rid of a lot of our in the moment shoulds. So this is what I
Yeah.
should be doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think the power I know for me, and I think for us, has been that having that support group to be able to say, forget the should, forget this, like, what do you want to do? What do I want? How do we want to, have that come about? And we started to think about the power of that. And we all have daughters, and we've had that conversation saying, gosh, like, what if I could have learned that or had that ability to have those types of conversations 10 years earlier, 15 years earlier? Like, how can we change the experience and dialogue for our daughters through us, you know,
Right.
taking on the journey and throwing out some of those shoulds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And even those things that so many of us struggle with. And I know that, Isabel, you quickly discovered this as you were writing the book and as the chapters were developing and reaching out to a very diverse group of women and having it all come together and realize, oh my gosh, we're all struggling with many of these same issues: lack of
Right.
confidence, unworthiness, paranoia, is my stuff good enough, imposter syndrome. I mean, so many of those things where we think, gosh, who am I to put my message out there? Who's going to listen to me? And am I too old to be doing this? What does society
Right.
dictate to me that I should be doing at this point in my life? And so many of those things. So Lee, just like what you said, helping to bring our daughters and that next generation up to empower them to realize this is something that we all go through, and it's normal. not a word I really like to use, but it's common, whatever it is, it's something that we struggle with. And when you can pull together that community of other women where we can come together and share those stories and kind of shine a mirror up to each other and say, but you are worthy and you are good enough and you are beautiful and your message is empowering me and it's inspiring me and it makes me want to show up better and do better and go do great things out there. So I love that all of that came up out of this as well and opened so many conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a unanimous theme that occurred in people buying the book and talking about the book, was that there was a resounding, "Oh my God, I thought it was just me," that went, rippling around the world, that when we finally sort of expose that in isolation, we've all been feeling at different times in our life, different degrees of all of those things that held us back and held us down. To know that, oh, really, there's nothing wrong with us at all. And we have an entire world filled with women that just need to have reassurance and support and an accountability team and inspiration and resources. And, I'm thinking like it's our time and it's our turn to fix some things that aren't really working well in the world and really unleash the full spectrum of feminine wisdom.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, and Jackie, to go to your point, this wasn't exactly how we had intended to launch this, and we had intended to launch more of a podcast type format, so less visual and more of a verbal conversation and storytelling. And as we've said, circumstances have changed that, and we also really had look forward to including others into the conversation, because I think we all agree that we're surrounded by, you just have to take time to talk to people. Everybody's got a story, and everybody usually has a story that will make you go, wow. It's just, which I think is a really powerful thing. So we haven't quite figured those two things out, but it's on the way, I guess.
Yeah, we're figuring it out as it goes along. And as a social media person, I can tell you for sure, I love the ability to have multiple platforms. You may be viewing this on YouTube as we're speaking. You may have found us on YouTube through this video. You may have found us through Facebook. You may have found us through our own individual sites and blogs. You may find us out on LinkedIn. You may find us out on a podcast. I'm not sure what brought you here, how you arrived at this point to be watching this, but that's the power of story. That's the power of community. That's the power of social media. And that's the power of just saying, what the heck, let's get it started. It doesn't have to be perfect. We figure it out as we go along, but you got to get it started.
Absolutely. Right now, today, the three of us are sheltered in our own homes, staying safe and saving lives. But soon, we know we'll be out there in person, in real life, in real time, with other women who have inspiration, resources, tools. Um, as you said, there are so many stories that impact us and uplift us all. And, we have big dreams for events and really exciting opportunities to interact with people as we learn together and grow together.
Absolutely. So just so you know, a way to stay in touch with us, if you go to streetsmartwealth.com/TD calls, as in transformation decoded calls, just go to streetsmartwealth.com/TD calls, and I'll leave it in the comments below. You can get signed up so that you get the updates. You'll learn each time that we launch a new video, once our podcast is up and running, events, empowering and inspiring words that we have to share. We want to make sure that you don't miss out on any of that. Ladies, anything final you want to say before we wrap up on this, our first launch?
Well, I'd like to invite everyone to jump into a Facebook group called Evolutionary Women group. That's by my company, the Encore Catalyst. And that'll also be a forum where we can receive ideas and feedback from you, and what's the burning question on your mind for the day, or how many more days until the nail salons are open again.
Great.
Great.
Lee?
Well, and I welcome everyone to visit Woman in Disguise, and on Facebook, you can just search that. And that is a community where we explore beauty, all ideas of beauty, and we play with beauty. And so invite everyone to that. And mostly just wishing everyone health through this challenging time.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I will make sure that all that is included in the comments below. We welcome you back next week, where you're going to hear even more stories and more concepts as to how this has come together. And we want to hear back from you too. So if you have anything specific you would like to hear about, a story that you want to share, or anything that can add to our community, please leave it in the comments below. We'll reach out to you and we will be in touch. So thanks so much for being here for our launch video.
Bye, everyone.